Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Gashi's Kaiman TV. Wonders shall never cease in Kenya. Kenyan politics is never short of drama. Ladies and gentlemen, would you expect that Moses Kuria would try to join the Jubilee Party of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta? Do you remember Moses Kuria saying that he's going to urinate outside the gate of Mama Ngina Kenyatta in Gatudo? Do you remember that statement? Do you remember Moses Kuria actually trying to accuse Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta of all kinds of evils that happened in this country, those that were there and those who are imagined? Ladies and gentlemen, Moses Kuria want to be the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. That is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and it is worth talking politically. In this video, I want us to look at just 4 reasons, in my view, why Moses Kuria is rushing, or why William Samoei Ruto is sending Moses Kuria to join the Jubilee Party at this time. If you're here for the first time, kindly subscribe to this channel. Here we talk about things that are happening in our country, and we give them a third eye. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 reason why William Samoei Ruto sent Moses Kuria in Mount Kenya, and specifically to join Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's party, is to divide the votes of Mount Kenya. William Samoei Ruto has already lost the votes of the mountain. He has come to compete with the DCP because, you see, majority, 90% of Kenyans are following DCP, Rigathi Gachagua's party. And the Rigathi Gachagua's party is going to sweep all the seats in the mountain. And because of this, and Jubilee is also because Jubilee is popular, and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has not come out openly to say that he's going to work with Rigathi Gachagua, although we can see that he is actually working with Rigathi Gachagua, but action speaks louder than words. But when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, you realize that DCP is very, very popular. Jubilee is also an alternative. Many people not actually mind vying using Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's party. And because of this fear, and because William Samoei Ruto wants a divided mountain, because a divided mountain is good for William Samoei Ruto and bad for the opposition, that is why he is coming to join the Jubilee Party. Number 2, in my view, there is the reality in the mountain. Could Moses Kuria be genuine? There is a possibility that he could also be genuine, that he want to join Jubilee because UDA is dead in the mountain. He is setting the precedent. He is setting the trend. Maybe they have agreed in the mountain, those who are in William Samoei Ruto, for them not to get a thorough beating, because for sure they will get a thorough political beating. Because William Samoei Ruto has lost it in the mountain. And Moses Kuria, no, politics is just about survival. It's about interest. And their interest now is to survive and win the next general election. And because they cannot be elected in William Samoei Ruto's party, and hata kile chama cha Kuria kilikuwa kinaitwaje, chama cha kazi, hata hakijulikane, kinaitwa chama cha kazi nafikiri. Could be right, could be wrong, because it's not a very, very influential party. So what is happening here? Because the reality on the ground is that William Samoei Ruto cannot win, and nobody who is associated with William Samoei Ruto can win an election. That is why, in my view, Moses Kuria, on the other hand, could be genuine when he is joining Jubilee Party, because he wants maybe to go back to parliament. But do you think Kenyans can vote for William Samoei, for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's party when Nani is there, Moses Kuria is there? Do you think Moses Kuria can be elected as a governor, as a member of parliament, or a senator, simply because he is in Jubilee? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Can he change the perception? Because when you look at Moses Kuria, he is now facing the reality that we cannot win this war. Because we are anti-people, we need to align ourselves with the people, and we can only do this through Jubilee Party. Number 3, in my view, is that he is trying to stop Gachagua and Uhuru supporting Matiang'i. He is coming to spoil for Matiang'i. And this is dangerous in my view. Matiang'i need to be very, very careful. And those guys who are actually planning for Fred Okengo Matiang'i need to be very, very careful with these overtures from Moses Kuria. Because if he comes to Jubilee, he may come and spoil the party for Matiang'i. Matiang'i is the favorite in the mountain. And because Moses Kuria is very, very close to William Samoei Ruto, he understands this. And I know even the intelligence information that Moses Kuria has, maybe from William Samoei Ruto, is that Jubilee will be very, very influential in 2027. And that Matiang'i is likely to get more than 90% of the votes from the mountain. Now, when Moses Kuria comes here, he may comes with his politics. He comes with his tactics. You know, Moses Kuria is very shrewd. Moses Kuria is very tactical. Moses Kuria will always have a way of actually confusing people. And he normally fights his way, and he fights himself very easily, winning a position in parliament. So maybe here, he has been sent specifically to ensure that Fred Okengo Matiang'i does not get that ticket. And if he get that ticket, maybe he spoils for him if he will be the secretary general. Would you imagine Matiang'i, the presidential candidate, with all the support for the mountain, and then Moses Kuria, the secretary general of the party? Could you imagine? Although, one thing I know about Kenyan politicians have no principles. What matters to them is interest, nothing but interest. Once the interests converge with others, they just join the party. So what is happening here is that when you look at Moses Kuria, because of what is happening, and because he understands very clearly that Matiang'i seems to be the favorite, and Kalonzo and Matiang'i are likely to work together, I think that is why he is coming. The other reason, in my view, William Samoei Ruto could maybe trying to sell him so that he can try to cool down the anger in the mountain, because the anger in the mountain is too much, by the way. It has reached boiling point. And Moses Kuria, you know, when you look at Moses Kuria, the way he jokes with people, the vile anatoa sarakasi hapa na pale, somehow he manages to cool down the temperature. He has a way of getting the attention of people. In fact, he comes with the jokes. He normally uses jokes. He comes with funny stories. And many people somehow find themselves following him. And I think this is why William Samoei Ruto is using him to come to the mountain, pretend to be very close to the people of the mountain, and in the final analysis, maybe prepare the way for William Samoei Ruto to come to the mountain. Otherwise, it is not just a coincidence that Moses Kuria ameamka tu hivi anasema atakuwa secretary general, and he is coming at a time when the court ruled that Jubilee wing of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the true Jubilee. So akina Sabina, akina Kanini Kega walipotelea hivyo hivyo. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but when you look at Moses Kuria is trying to do all those things that you have said, and whether he's going to succeed, only time will tell. Have a blessed day. Bye.